Hi guys, technical problems galore today, hence why we are back upstairs in the bedroom. There is no funky splash screen or anything like that. We're back to basics, me, a mobile phone and yourselves watching. That's a shame, but we can get on with it. We don't need all the fancy tools or anything like that. So, let's get to see you. So, hi, welcome to another week of conditioning for BrAMS. My name's Rich, and what this is a class put together in conjunction with those beautiful people down at the BrAMS Centre at Southmead Hospital for those with MS. Okay, it's a circuit-based class that we do mostly from the chair to help deal with things like confidence and movement, developing strength through range of motions for everyday use, those kinds of things. We're on week about 8 now, I want to say. You can catch up any of the other previous classes that we've done over on the YouTube account. We do record all of them and put them up there so you can try them all at your own leisure, those kinds of things. If you have any problems with any of the movements today, that they cause any kind of pain or anything like that, my first recommendation would be to pull back from that, okay? We should only be feeling mild discomfort, a slight warming of the muscles, those kinds of things, in the areas that are being worked themselves, okay? We shouldn't be feeling any pain within the joints. We shouldn't be feeling any sharp pains or anything like that. So if you do experience any situations like that, my first kind of piece of advice would be to draw it back a little bit, and then if it's a persistent pain, then just refer it back to the neurologist or the physio or the nurses you're dealing with down at BrAMS, okay? You only want you to go as far as you can do today, so don't worry about pushing yourselves too far. It's not as many reps as possible. We're just looking to perfect the movements that we are doing, okay? So just keep that in mind. Just try and do as many good reps based on the information that I give you and the words that I'm saying today. If it's challenging, fine. If it's easy, that's fine. There are layers to escalate the challenge factor for you, all those kinds of things. Because we are in such a technical nightmare, and I'll only say this because I can see it's just popped up on my phone right now, I have no access to the live chat. So I do apologise if you're saying hello, if you're asking questions or anything like that. I'm not going to be able to see it today just because of all these horrendous technical problems that I've come across this morning. But if you want to leave any messages in there, I will get back to you afterwards and kind of respond as necessary from there. The things you're going to need today, a chair. I do thoroughly recommend one with arms if you've got one. They just allow us to kind of change some movements ever so slightly, give you a little bit more support through various motions and those kinds of things. And you're going to need space probably all the way around you, up above you as well. Some of the movements, when we get to kind of that next challenge level, they may take you into your kind of a stood position. So you may want to make sure that your chair is sturdy, it doesn't slip or slide away if you lean on it. Alternatively, we may use a surface to help support us through certain different motions as well. You may also want to drink some nice cool refreshing squash or something along those lines, so make sure you've got that handy. And that's about it really. It's kind of a lot of the work we're going to do just based around the seat, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, let's just get on with it, shall we? I'm just so fried from all of the problems I've been trying to deal with in the last half an hour to get this up and running. No issues, that's my situation, not yours. You're here for the work, so let's get after it, shall we? So, first thing we're going to just point out first and foremost is posture, okay? I'm going to talk about posture a lot today, especially this upper body posture. So what I want to just point out before we get started is kind of what that upper body posture feels like, all right? So if you think back to when you were younger and you were in assembly and you were talking to little Jenny next to you and you were told to sit up straight by your teacher, you'd sit up nice and straight in class, okay? That's the kind of posture we're talking about. Kind of those shoulders are back, the chest is pushed high, head's nice and elevated, those kinds of things. You could almost, if you bring your hands behind your back, whether you're kind of touching your elbows or your hands are together or squeezing, if you push those arms just a little bit further down, that kind of drawing back of the body that kind of shoulders down and back, and notice how the chest rotates up. That's the kind of posture that we're looking for. So through all of the movements, in the seat, out of the seat, transferring from the seat to out of the seat, anytime I talk about posture, it's that kind of shoulders back and down, head up, those kind of situations. So every time, like I say, I talk about it, just really think about drawing them back, whoosh, like that. So those shoulders that go from, maybe they're in this position here, to drawn back. And you can already see how that changes my entire posture from there. And like I say, hands behind the back, these kind of situations will kind of help feel what that's like. So that when you take the arms away, you'll be like, oh yeah, kind of feels like that. So posture, super key. So we're starting in the chair for our warm-up with our good posture which is set up. And we're going to start from the floor upwards. Let me take a step back. Okay, so we will start with our feet first and foremost. We're going to be drawing a lot of circles with different body parts, okay? First things first, you're either going to draw circles with your heels or your toes, okay? So if you're comfortable with your leg off the floor, drawing circles with the toe, okay? If it's difficult for you to support that leg off the floor the entire time, keep the toe on the floor and draw the circle with the heel, okay? Now, depending on the makeup of your chair will determine how much of a side movement that you can get. I can already feel my leg hitting the arm of the chair. So to combat that, get more of a circle. You can just bring your bum to the end of the seat so there's much more space. So it's just big circles either with that heel or with that toe. We're going the opposite way now. Just mobilizing those joints, ready to work, ready to get some movement in them today. And now we're just going to take on to that next level. We've started with the foot in circles, now with the knee, same thing. So you can either keep the toe on the floor if you're not comfortable keeping that leg off the floor for a period of time. Just nice big circles around one way. We're trying to take every movement to the largest range of motion that you can take it, okay? If that's bringing your leg off the floor as well, great, okay? But remember, we're trying to keep that upper body posture. So if you find that bringing your knee up causes your body to fold over, we want to get it to the point where we've still got that good posture. So even if that's a reduced range of motion, the posture is your defining thing for every repetition. As soon as the posture breaks, reduce the range of motion. Let's go ahead and bring it the opposite way next. So nice big circles. And maybe our toes still on the floor. From there, lovely stuff. Okay, bringing it to our upper body next. So we're going to take some circles forward. So let's just put the hand on the shoulder. Just take some nice circles forward. Biggest circle that you can draw with your elbow. Try not to let your shoulders ride up, okay? Scrunching up the shoulders is not what we want. We want lots of space. Let's go backwards with the circle now. We want lots of space between the shoulders and the ears. So that's our elbow, drawing nice big circles. Bringing it down to the wrist. Nice big circles one way. And this whole time, my posture's not changed. Let's take the circles the opposite way. My posture's still holding up. My core's engaged, stabilizing that upper body position. Let's go back down. Other leg then. So we're back to those circles at the ankle. So it's big circles with the toe for your biggest range. Or if your toe's on the floor, with that heel. Ups and downs, rounds and rounds, the whole way. Let's take it the opposite way as well. So if you've got shoes on, big clumpy shoes or something like that, that might restrict your ability to do this a little bit more. Don't worry, just try and do as much as you can, like I say, as big as that range of motion as you can. Now onto that knee, drawing circles with the knee. So maybe the foot is still on the floor, but you're just really exaggerating that nice big movement with the knee. Back and forward, round and round. Maybe you've just got it coming off the floor. Maybe it's a little bit off the floor, back on the floor. or maybe it's off the floor the entire time. Try and do it without any support from the hands. So it is just the leg and its corresponding muscles making the movements. Let's take it the opposite way as well. Whatever that range feels like today. Maybe it's still on the floor, a little bit jumping off. And what I want you to do is every motion has a forward and back. See if we can control the backwards motion just as much as the forward. That's not more, you know, a situation than when you take a foot off the floor. Difficult to take up. Don't drop it down at the bottom. All right, back up to the top of the body. Hand on the shoulder, nice big circle forward. Once again, keeping those shoulders low, keeping that sat up straight posture as you take it round a nice big range of motion, and we're going backwards again. Nice big circle. And then to the wrist, big wrist circle one way. Hello everybody. So I'll do that occasionally, maybe to keep an eye on the old chat. The other way as well, just in case something goes terribly wrong, like you can't see or hear me or something like that. Okay, good stuff. Now we're just going to take some side twists. So now it's the shoulders which are leading the way. Okay, the head isn't leading the way, you're just pushing the shoulders round as far to each side as possible. Nice and controlled, every single one. There's no jerky motions, we're not throwing ourselves into it, it's just nice and soft movement. Okay, and we're sat at the edge of our seats. And we're just going to forward fold and then bring the hands high. So if we can touch the floor, great. Hands high. Roll the hands down the shins as far as we can before coming up nice and high once again. All the way down to the floor. Nice and high. And it's very controlled. We're not bouncing off the either end of our range of motion. We're not dropping our weight and letting gravity take us all the way down from there. Okay, now we're going to take opposite side hand through to that opposite side and then back up. So now when we fold forward, we're folding both hands down to one side. You'll notice your range of motion will be slightly decreased. So don't worry if you can't get down to that floor. It's just a forward fold down, bringing ourselves back up. Last couple of these then. One, two, lovely stuff. Okay, we're going to just start getting our legs moving a little bit more now, and we're going to just basically walking or marching on the spot. Okay, whatever your range of motion is today, it might just be the heels, just popping up and down on the spot. It might be a good old marching step. We're just going to keep those legs moving now. And what I want you to think about as you go through this and you set it all up and you sort it out yourself, okay, is we're trying to simulate your walking pattern, okay? So we want feet roughly underneath our hips. So if our hips, drawing a line out from our hips, our feet are up and down on that spot. What are our knees doing? Okay, you remember last week we used the ball to talk about that knee control. If we need the ball again and we want to do that through some of our movements, that's fine. Knees should be parallel. Let's see if we can control those knees and get them in line. If you've got a nice big range of motion and you're comfortable moving those knees above the hip level, take it to that range of motion. But just remember, whichever of the three you're doing, okay, whether it's just heels, little steps or big steps, we're controlling the knees, we're controlling the downward motion as well. Okay, keep your legs moving. Let's take our hands out to the side and we're going to go jazz fingers. So now we're multitasking. Oh no, now we're asking the brain to do a lot. Feet are moving, fingers are moving, and now I'm going to give you some instructions. Right hand high, or left hand forward. Keep everything moving nice and controlled. Right hand to the right, left hand to the right. And on top of that, you've got to think about your posture as well. So many things. Left hand high, right hand low, left hand left, left hand right, right hand left. Give yourself a hug. Ah, there you go. Lovely stuff. Okay, so here, let me just get my instructions up for the day. There we go. Here's how we're going to deal with the circuit-based situation now. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different movements today, okay? And we're going to work in 45-second blocks, okay? So it's going to be 45 seconds rest, followed by 45 seconds work, followed by 75 seconds rest, okay? Just because then that gives me nice full numbers to work with and I don't get complicated, all kind of out of whack. I'm good at fitness, not at numbers. So our first movement, as it always is that seated position to standing, okay? And we've got one of the various different levels that you can work on today depending on how you feel, okay? So we've got the bottom section where we're literally just raising the bum and then bringing it back down. So we're transferring the weight from the bum in the seat onto our legs and then back down, okay? Using the arms to support us, elbows drawn back, okay? Elbows back behind the body from there whenever they're supporting us. Next one you've got is just the full stand. So we're up and then we're squeezing the glute through up to standing and then we come back down, all the way down. Weights off the bum on the feet, pushing up with the feet, all the way back down again. Nice and slow on the decline. And then our final one at the top is the no-handed. Up we get from the seat and then we return down to the seat, okay? So whatever layer you're looking at today, whichever one you're comfortable with, those kinds of things, let's get after it. Once I find the right stopwatch, we're going 45 seconds, remember. All right, 3, 2, 1, off we go. So every single movement we're doing is deliberate, okay? Don't ever get out of control through any of your movements. So right now I'm just doing that bottom section of this squat movement, this stand-up pattern. The weight's on my bum. I'm leaning over onto my feet, so my center of balance is over my feet before I bring my legs into it and then back down. Maybe we take it all the way to standing, pushing on up, squeezing the bum cheeks together like you're cracking a nut, and back down. All the way up, squeezing the bum, and back down. Okay, good stuff. That's our first 45 seconds done. Great. So we always start with that movement because it's probably the movement that we use all day, every day, more than any other type of movement. Okay, like getting up, sitting down, toilets, chairs, desks, sofa, all those kinds of things. We're always doing it. So the more we can practice it, the more we can get confident with it, the better we're going to be with it every day. The next movement we're going to do, multiple different ways that we can do it once again, depending on how you want to challenge yourself today. We're staying with our legs, with our pushing muscles, these little calves behind our shins, these calf muscles. So we're going to do heel raises. So toes stay on the floor, heels come as high as they can. Difference between this and our walking motion at the beginning is I want you to hold it at the top for about a second, 2 seconds before you bring it back down, okay? Up, hold, back down. If you want to up the challenge level, you can do it leaning over a surface or a radiator like I am here, if your radiator's sturdy. You can see how I'm up on my heels, hold, back down. Maybe you're at a full stand against the wall as well. That's another option there. So choose your option and off we go. We got 45 seconds, remember. Now, whichever one you're doing, remember you're holding it at the top of the range of the motion for a second before slowly bringing it back down to the floor. Now the other added complication is what's going on with your knees, okay? Control the knees. They should be parallel the entire time. So if you remember last week, we used a ball or a pillow between the knees to simulate that. So if you want to put something like that there now, by all means do. But whatever you're doing, nice and slow control, especially down. You're up, hold, back down, nice and slow. That's your 45 seconds, great. So as I was talking about with the knee situation, let me grab a pillow. Oh, this will be better. Is just by popping something between your knees, okay? When you do your motions, now you've got extra feedback on what your knees are doing. So I can feel as I come down, if my knees are squeezing in because I can feel them against the box. If my knees are going away, we see it drop. So a lot of these movements, the squats movements, the calf ones, those kinds of things, even in the ones that don't involve using our legs, just by popping something in between them, we can also cognitively learn to control those knees, keep them in a good position. All right, next one, lunge. A couple of different ones, variations for you to do depending on how you feel. First and foremost, from the chair, we bring one leg underneath the chair, so we roll it back, and then we just bring our weight forward and then back. Change our legs, forward and back. Okay, change the legs, the other one goes underneath, weight shifts forward and back over that leg. If we're a little bit more confident, we want to take it out of the chair, we can just take a step back, little lunge or a little curtsy, whatever's comfortable, and then back. All right, maybe you've got a work surface that you can do it on. Same thing, we take a little step back and a curtsy or a lunge, whatever you feel like your range of motion is, okay? 3, 2, 1, 45 seconds, away we go. So we're just looking to involve as much of the leg muscles as possible. You're almost, as you're doing this off of the chair, okay, it's almost like your bum is going to slide off the edge of the chair before we return back to the chair, okay? So that leg slides underneath the chair, we're almost sliding off it, and we're back, okay? If we are using our work surface, remember, we've got to step back. We're sturdy on that front leg as we curtsy down or we step down. We come back and we work the other leg as well. So we are changing it over from there. And good. Okay, the next one's just going to involve us staying in the chair this time. So get comfortable there. If you want to roll yourself back a little bit in the seat so you're a lot more sturdy on the thighs, that's fine. Just concentrate on keeping your feet under your knees and keeping those knees away from each other and that that good upper body posture. So we have a bunch of punching. So we're going to do, here we go, you ready? 1, 2, forward, 1, 2, up, okay? That's our whole motion. 2 forward, 2 high, okay? And we're just going to repeat that whilst keeping good posture, shoulders all the way down to toes set up. Okay, 45 seconds. Let's go. So it's 1, 2, and then up, 2. Okay, try, and when you get to that full range of motion, try and see if you can keep your fist or your palm or however you're doing these movements, your karate chop, see if it's straight out from your shoulder. Okay, same overhead. See if you can get it to a straight position every single time. Okay? And it's always nice and controlled. And just like when the leg movements were coming back to the chair, don't let gravity, I almost did the wrong one there, don't let gravity just flop it down. Really nice and slow back down. We talk about a lot about rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. See if we can get the same forward and back rhythm. All right, that's time. Good. Side steps are next. So once again, just like we did with the lunge, basically all we're doing is taking a step out, shifting our range of motion, and our center of balance over that way. So if we're in the chair, bums are on the edge of the seat, okay, we take a step out, we shift our weight over that way, we shift it back, bring the leg back in. Big step out to the side, shift our weight over, back, back in. And every time you are shifting your weight over, put as much weight through that foot as you can. Remember, you've got the arms of the chairs to support you if you're not feeling too confident bringing yourself back, where we could use the arms to bring ourselves back. On our work surfaces, we can take that step, shift our weight over and back, stepping back. Or if you're on your chair, same situation. You can take a side step, shifting your weight over, back, and then over on the other side as well. All right, so lots of variations, and it's about finding what's challenging for you today. Okay, 3, 2, 1, 45 seconds are off. Good. So remember, we're just looking to push ourselves into a position where our center of balance is moving from the normal over the hips. So with the step out, now my center of balance is much more down my right side. I can feel my legs much more engaged, holding that weight than anything else. And I'm pushing back to help my body back. If we stood up against the work surface, we're bent over, remember. We step out or we slide out. We push our weight out that way. One leg bends, one leg stays straight, and we come on back. 3 seconds. There we go, lovely stuff. All right, the twist is next. So from the chair, all we're going to do is basically punch the opposite side, okay? So, right hand will punch left. Left hand will punch right. And that's our entire movement. We're just taking the opposite arm through the opposite plane as far as we can. We're turning the body as we move, but do notice that it's our entire body with that good posture which pivots, okay? Butt cheeks both stay on the floor, not on the floor, on the chair as we twist round, posture still set, and that punch takes us a little bit further, and you'll feel a lot more action going on in and around this area here, around the rib area, your oblique muscles, those kinds of things. And you're just taking it through the biggest range of motion you've got today. It might be a little one and you're punching, 45 degrees to the side. That's fine. If you're getting round to 90, perfect. If you get any more than that, you're super bendy. All right, 45 seconds, we're off. So if it's a punch, great. If you're leading with a fist, if you're a pacifist and you're leading with the palms, open palm technique, Iron Man blast. From there, we're taking each movement nice and slow. Remember that idea of rhythm. 1, 2, 1, 2, and I'm back to the middle. 1, 2 seconds out, 1, 2 seconds back. Nice and controlled. Every movement should be a deliberate movement with no kind of flopping or anything like that. 5 seconds to go. That's probably enough for one good repetition. There it is, lovely stuff. Okay, final one we got in a round, and then we are going to revisit our 7 exercises, is going to be the floor touch. Okay, so we're sat on the edge of the seat, and what we're going to look to do, feet are under knees, posture is set. Okay, so floor touching. We're either going to take just the right hand down and you're trying to touch, so we're not coming near our foot like we were in the warm-up. We're looking to come directly down under the hip, or as close to where that hip level is. So for me, that's right by the chair leg, okay? So we're coming down to the floor and then we're reaching up round. And if you look at it from the side view, we're literally just folding directly to the side and then coming up directly as well. So posturally, my back isn't breaking forward or 2 arched back. It's the same thing as I reach down to the side and then come straight back up, okay? So it's almost like we're a pendulum. Chick, 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 each and every time. 45 seconds, off we go. And we're going both ways. Up, as far as you can take it. So same thing, opposite arm, down to that side, and then up. If it comes over because you've got much more range of motion, great, okay? Take it through your range of motion, remember. So we may have a very small dip. Don't worry if you can't get to the floor. We might have a little reach, great, depending on your thoracic spine, depending on other parts, your lumbar. Really dictate how far you can move through this. Move through as far as you can. You're keeping both those butt cheeks firmly planted on the floor. If you feel one butt cheek come up, that's the end of that range of motion. Okay, keep the butt cheeks firmly on the floor. And up. Good stuff. All right, I gave you 60 seconds there. I got a bit carried away with that one. But we'll rest there. Good. So that's our 7 movements for today. We've got that kind of sit to stand. We've got the calf work, those single leg lunges, the punching, the side steps, the twist, and then the floor touch. What we're going to do, we're going to go through all 7 of those once again. And what we're going to do is we'll do each round for 60 seconds just to give us that little bit of extra time. And maybe that'll give us an extra 1 rep or so to really kind of concrete the movements in ourselves. The more we do something, the more the brain builds that code to help us do it. So we're going to go 60 on, 60 off. And remember that every movement that we're doing is controlled, and we're trying to make the movement as perfect as possible. So don't worry about, oh, we've got 15 more seconds, that means I've got to do another 5 reps or something. No, not at all. If you manage 1 extra rep, brilliant. If you don't manage any extra reps, brilliant, okay? It's literally just spending the time to control each movement. And like I say, with each one, think about the rhythm of the movement. So the squat, the sit to stand is a great example. If you take 2 seconds to do half of the movement, see if you can take 2 seconds to do the rest. So if I'm taking 2 seconds to stand up, 1, 2, and I'm stood up, take the same amount of time to return, 1, 2, okay? Just because there's just as much muscle kind of action, muscle tension being used at the out part as well as the in part of all of our movements. So by controlling it on the way back, we get a much more bang for our buck in regards to the body development. Awesome. Okay, so we're going back into that squat position. Remember, we're either just doing the bum raises, so the weights on our feet, the weights on our bum, the weights on our feet. We're doing a supported stand, or we're doing that free stand from there, okay? Remember, good upper body posture, squeezing the glutes towards the end of our range of motion, okay? 3, 2, 1, and we're off. Nice and controlled. Weight onto our feet. We're transferring that center of balance. Center of gravity over the feet. Push up with the legs a little bit. And maybe you take it up a little bit further every time. That's as far as I'm going this time. Next time. Oh, it's a little bit further. And then back down. The big difference between the transition from the bum lift into the full stand is what's going on with our glutes, okay? If you really squeeze your butt cheeks together, squeeze, that feeling is just pushing ourselves into it, okay? So feel and pull. Oh, we're straightening those legs as much as we can. Squeeze those glutes, get us through, and back down. 1, there it is, lovely stuff. Okay, next one we're doing is that beautiful calf raise, the heels coming off the floor. And so we're either seated, remember, feet under knees, up, and we're holding it, and we're back down. So the challenge I want to issue to you this one is I want you to, whenever you go up, I want you to hold it for longer, and then I want you to bring it back down even longer. So let's look at it from a simple point of view. 1 second raise, 2 second hold, 3 second lower. Okay, something along those lines. Okay, so 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And that goes for any of the ways that you're doing it, whether you're doing it from the chair, over a surface, or fully standing with support. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. See if we can stagger those times. Off we go. Because what we're doing is we're doing 3 different kinds of work here. We've got a little bit of power going on for the quick movement. We're then isometrically holding it before eccentrically bringing it down. So there's lots of different types of training going on there as we're working. And one big thing we're doing is we're increasing the time under tension and the control as well. Okay? So nice and controlled, regardless of how you're doing it. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Just really control. And remember, what we're doing as well is that upper body posture is perfect. There we go, there's time. Because I keep rabbiting on about it, and I'm sure you keep remembering it and popping it back, those shoulders back and down. Okay, lunging then. So if we're in the chair, remember, bums on the edge of the seat. Heels are under knees, and that one leg is dropping back under the chair. And then we're bringing the weight forward. Depending on how long your legs are and how tall that chair is, maybe you even find that knee that goes under the chair ends up on the floor, and you shift your bum out of the chair. Like I say, it depends on how big your chair is before we come back and then swap legs. Okay? If obviously that does happen for you and you come out onto the knee, there's an element of balance involved. Okay? And then it's back into the chair. Okay? If we're doing it behind the chair or on the work surface, it's that step back, lower, and then back. All right, 60 seconds are off. So I'm on my work surface. I step back. My hips come down as far as I'm comfortable with, and then I return. Maybe we're sliding the foot back just a little bit, and there's just a little curtsy, because that's all I'm comfortable with, and that's fine. Remember, it's finding your comfort level and challenging yours rather than what anybody else is doing. Maybe we're in that chair still. We've just got a tiny range of motion. But remember, we're still challenging our center of balance. I've now loaded up a different area of my body under tension before I'm bringing it back and then swapping it on over. And remember, there's a tremendous amount, especially when we're in the chair, bending forward and back, there's a tremendous amount of core work going on as well. So even if you can't feel it in the legs or anything else, core is holding the body, is pulling the body back to our start position. That's our minute done. Lovely stuff. Next one is those punches, forward, forward, up, up. I always, anytime I vision, I think about anybody else doing this part, I think that they do with big smiles on their faces because it's like a big cheer. Yay! And I'm sure that's what you're all doing at home. So if there's anybody else in the room with the person who's exercising, please take a video of them going yay and post it away because I would love to see it. Okay, so just remember, posture is set, firm roots on the floor, body's in a great position, forward, forward, high, high. And it is one arm at a time. Don't send the other arm out until the first arm's back. 3, 2, 1, fully controlled. Control those shoulders. Don't let those shoulders creep up to your ears. Once again, think about your rhythm. Okay? Whatever it is, if you're doing 1 second, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay? It's the same speed there and back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Lovely stuff. So just think, you're just controlling it the entire time. When you're making your movements, those forward punches, try not to twist into it. Don't draw that shoulder forward. Remember, we've got those side punches for that twist element as well. We're literally just keeping core strong, upper body posture, shoulders forward as we take one forward and one back. Okay? And then we go one high. Once again, those shoulders aren't leading the way from there. Good stuff. We've got those side steps next. So once again, if we're in the chair, bums at the edge of the seat, we take a step out to the side, we slide the foot out to the side, we take many little steps out to the side, we bring our weight over the leg. There's much more weight through this leg now than there is in this leg, and then I pull my weight back, and then we reset and we go out to the other side. Remember, the whole time those butt cheeks are staying on the floor. You've got the arms of the chair as well to help support you and help you feel much more comfortable in the movements, okay? Or we're doing it from the work surface, hands on the work surface. We take a nice comfortable couple of steps, and then we just push our knees in. One knee bends, one stays straight, and then we come on back, and we can do the same on the opposite side as well, okay? 60 seconds, off we go. So remember, let's get it on, shall we? Find your biggest range of motion. Pushing ourselves into it. Bringing ourselves out. Reset, other side. 1, 2. 1, 2. I'm resetting. Maybe even pushing yourself to 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's all about kind of taking a little bit more every single time. So even when you're standing and you're starting to do much more of that side lunge, okay? Maybe you start with like just a little step out to the side, slight shift of the weight, slight shift of the weight to one side. Maybe we start working that into more of a bigger step and a much bigger slip to one side, okay? That's our time, 60 seconds. That's what it's all about doing, is finding where we're comfortable, challenging that comfort level, going into mild discomfort. The more time we spend in mild discomfort, the more that becomes comfortable. So then suddenly our work effort goes from here to here, and this becomes our new norm. That's how performance happens. Stuff doesn't get easier, just our tolerance and our ability to work in that area changes. Okay, twist next. So it's a twist and punch now. Good posture, feet are rooted into the floor, those knees are nicely parallel. Remember, if you're playing along at home with the ball or a cushion in your legs to sort out that knee situation, great. And all you're doing is you're twisting and punch, back, twist, pull, and that's all it is. From one way to another, 60 seconds, off you go. Sound effects, ba-boom, ba-boom. Fully in control, remember. Everything is a nice rhythmic movement, okay? You're not forcing into it. There's no jerky motions. It's nice and smooth, okay? Just like you are wiping the surface down, it's a nice smooth motion. No jerky motions. Because obviously when you're wiping up liquid, if you do a jerky motion, you're much more likely to flick that fluid off rather than a nice smooth one where it's going to get wiped down properly. Oh, what a great analogy. Almost through, last 5 seconds. Really get through to the biggest range of motion that you can. Maybe it gets bigger every single time. Good stuff. And then our final one for today then is going to be that floor touch. So remember, bums on the edge of the seat, set the feet, and it's a sideways pendulum type motion, okay? So I'm taking my hand down to, or as close to, under my hip as possible, or to the side of my hip, I should say. So like I said earlier, for me, that is the leg in my chair. So we can see my posture is set, and my posture is almost exactly the same the entire time. And then I reach up and over, back down, and back over, okay? And we're doing it with alternate arms each and every time for 60 seconds, okay? So when you're ready, 3, 2, 1, and we're off. Down for the reach. And it's as far as you can take it today, remember. So if you get to the floor, great. If you get to your, oh God, I was gonna say, if you can get your elbow down to the floor, oh, that's a tremendous range of motion. I'm not sure that anyone could. Once again, if you can do that though, take a picture, let's see it. Bend on down, pushing up, overhead, and then back. On that overreach, okay, you'll feel tremendous kind of space all up our side of our back, okay? Your QL muscle is getting a tremendous stretch and movement there as well. 15 to go. That's probably enough time for maybe 2, 3 nice controlled movements. Remember, those butt cheeks are staying on the chair the entire time. 3, 2, 1. Nailed it. Good stuff. Okay. So let us stretch off to finish the day, okay? First things first, we're going to just sit nice and comfortably in the chair. We're going to just let our feet go straight out ahead, heels on the floor, knees apart, okay? And the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is just forward fold as far as you can. So this time we're taking our hands down towards the ankles. Okay, so roll them down past the knees, down the shins towards the ankles, or as close to them as you can take them today. And then we're going to bring ourselves all the way back up. Heels stay in the same place. Shift towards the end of your seat. Flatten the feet onto the floor because you've got a little bit more space, a little bit more rotation now. And then just bring yourself back down to the floor again, or as close to the floor as you can take it. Once again, those hands go down past the knees, down the shins towards your ankles. Okay, and we roll all the way back up again. Let's take our right leg, let's say, and take it out as wide as you can. And then you're going to just take both legs, both hands down the leg that's left in place again. So our hip is slightly open. We're forward folding again. Let's bring ourselves all the way back up. Bring that leg back in, that right leg in. This time take your left leg out. Same thing, rotating down the knee, the shin of that right leg now. We bring ourselves back up. And now both legs go out to the side, and we're just going to go straight down to the floor, as close to that floor as you can go. Be careful not to overbalance yourself here, because you don't want to be rolling forward out of your chair. We don't want to head dive into the floor or anything like that. And then back up we come. Okay, legs come back together in the middle. We're going to take our right foot and take it as far back as you can. Maintain the flat foot. Okay, so if I give you a side view, this is our bog standard setup. Posture, feet flat under the knee. You're just going to bring that right leg back. It's still flat on the floor. You see, I'm not raising my heel. Foot stays flat on the floor. Okay, then we're just going to take that left foot and keep that forward until we can't keep the foot flat on the floor. So we've got two different legs now. Well, we've always got two different legs. What am I talking about? Two different leg positions, but both feet are flat on the floor. Once you're there, we take a forward fold again, maintaining flat feet on the floor, heels and toes on the floor. Now I want you to take your left hand onto your right knee and twist on round, okay? Feet stay flat on the floor, legs stay in exactly the same position. And then we're going to rotate back to the middle, swap our feet around, so now it's going to be the left leg back and the right foot forward. Both feet, remember, flat on the floor, and we take ourselves forward again. And as we come back up this time, we take our hand to the right knee, open up to the twist to the left. Before we come back. Final one then. You might want to sit back in the chair on this one so you've got space behind the chair. We should bring those hands behind the back. Okay. And just push them down and away from our shoulders. Okay, lovely stuff. Okay, thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen. As always, if you've got any questions, queries, anything you'd like to see more of in these classes, then do drop me a message. The chances are, if there's something on your kind of physio plan or something like that that is effective for you, it's going to help other people. So if there's something you'd like to see kind of in here for that kind of situation, let me know. Otherwise, if you've got any other problems that have happened because of today, do refer back to the beautiful people at BrAMS. They're obviously always happy to hear from you. If you're here live, leave a like or a comment, let us know you came by. If you're watching this video either on YouTube or on a delay on the Facebook page, once again, drop us a message, let us know you've been around, let us know what you've done. It takes 2 minutes and it gives us feedback so we know where to pitch and lead the classes and those kinds of things for you in future, okay? Have a wonderful rest of your week, and same time, same place next week. Have a great one, guys. Awkward sign off.